Hey man, most guys give attention like a free sample. They hand it out on every text, every like, every comment. They pour their energy out like a man dying for connection. And then they wonder, why does she lose interest? Why does she take me for granted? Why does she chase the guy who barely even tries? The truth is brutal, but clean. She only values the attention she has to earn. If it's easy, it's disposable. If it's abundant, it's forgettable. But if it's rare, it becomes magnetic. Every time you respond instantly, every time you drop what you're doing to appease her, every time you emotionally react, explain yourself or validate her when she hasn't earned it, you're telling her, you don't have to work for me. And the moment she knows that, something switches in her mind. You become predictable, you become convenient, and convenience kills mystery. Mystery kills the chase, and once the chase is gone, so is her desire. So what's the secret then? It's simple, but powerful. You flip the dynamic. You stop chasing validation. You stop being available 24/7. You stop giving attention as a reflex, and you start holding it back like it's gold, because to the right woman, it is, and to the wrong woman, it reminds her she's not the center of your world. Let her wonder, let her question, let her notice the gap, because that gap is where curiosity lives. And curiosity is the fuel of desire. When she doesn't know what you're thinking, when she doesn't know why you haven't texted back yet, when she realizes she can't predict your moves, that's when her mind gets hooked. That's when she replays the last interaction. That's when she scans your social media. That's when she texts first, checks in, and subtly starts chasing what you're no longer giving so freely. Most men are afraid of withholding attention. They think, what if she loses interest? But a high-value man thinks, if she loses interest when I pull back, she was never genuinely interested to begin with. You have to let the weak connections fall away, because what's left, what survives the silence, is what actually matters. If she can't handle a version of you that's focused on your purpose, if she needs constant validation to stay loyal, if your silence makes her flee instead of chase, then you didn't lose anything. You just exposed everything. Now, listen to me closely. Making her work for your attention doesn't mean being cold, distant, or manipulative. It means being selective. It means valuing your energy enough to filter who gets access to it. It means putting yourself first, not in a selfish way, but in a disciplined way. You're no longer a faucet of attention that runs for everyone. You're a stream that flows only where it's respected. And that respect, that's what she wants to feel. Because the women who chase men aren't chasing them for their looks, their jokes, or their sweet words. They're chasing something rare. They're chasing energy that can't be controlled. They're chasing the man who can say no, who can hold eye contact without folding, who can walk away and still be calm, because he knows he's the prize. And you become the prize when you stop handing out your value on discount. When she realizes you're not like the rest, that you're not emotionally needy, that your attention is a privilege, not a right, she starts showing up differently. She starts dressing better when she sees you. She starts texting more. She starts asking questions, engaging deeper, leaning in, not because you begged, but because you backed off. You flipped a game. And the moment the game flips, the power shifts. She starts putting in effort. She starts proving herself. She starts trying to meet your standard. And that's exactly where you want to be. Because now she's investing. Now she's emotionally involved. Now she's hooked on the challenge. Let me tell you something real. Attraction doesn't thrive in comfort, it thrives in tension. And the tension comes from contrast. It comes from the space between what she expects and what you actually give. If she expects instant replies and gets silence, she leans in. If she expects validation and gets calm detachment, she's intrigued. If she expects emotion and gets centered stillness, she's captivated. That's how you spark emotional addiction, not by giving more, but by giving less. Asterisk, asterisk, less availability, less reaction, less explanation, less validation, because when you give less, every drop becomes valuable. She learns to savor your words, she studies your eyes, she leans into the pauses, because you've made your attention expensive, and expensive things are treated differently. Now, here's the hard part, most men can't do this. They can't sit in that silence, they can't hold the tension, they break. They text back, they call, they chase, But when you master the art of emotional restraint, you separate yourself. You become unforgettable. She starts comparing you to every other man in her life, and they all fail the comparison. Why? Because you're not trying to prove anything. You've already proved it to yourself. You don't need her energy to feel alive. You're already full. You're just giving samples, not the whole course. Let her qualify herself. Let her earn your praise. Let her feel that your attention comes with standards, that it's based on her behavior, not her beauty. Because when she senses that your attention isn't automatic, she rises to the challenge. That's the secret most guys never learn. The man who gives less gets more effort, more respect, more desire, because he creates an emotional economy where his energy matters. So the next time you're tempted to explain yourself, to overreact, to fill the silence with words just to feel seen, don't hold the line. Sit in the stillness and let her wonder what's going on in your mind, because that wondering, that pause, that small moment of silence from you, it can scream louder than 1,000 messages. It can spark curiosity, respect, and desire, all without saying a word. So remember this, you're not being cold, you're being calibrated. You're not being arrogant, you're being aware. You're not withholding to manipulate, you're withholding to maintain value. You are the fire. She'll chase the warmth, but only if it doesn't burn out by trying too hard to stay lit for her. Let her bring the wood, let her build the flame, let her work for your fire, because once she does, she'll never forget how rare your heat truly is.